The ships fell from the black sky like dying stars. Watch them come down from the command chair of the human colony ship Endeavor. Each vessel was long and angular, built with sharp lines that cut through space. Their hulls glowed with a faint blue light. The ships descended slowly, too slow for people who were running from something dangerous. Been the captain of the Endeavor for 12 years. She was a woman of 48 years with starting to show in her dark hair. Her face was hard from years of command decisions. She had seen humanity struggle to find its place among the stars. For 50 years, the Galactic Council had ignored humans. They treated humanity like children playing with fire. Humanity was new to space travel. They were unpredictable. They did not follow the old rules that the Council had made thousands of years ago. They were different from humanity. They had skin that looked like crystal. Light moved through their bodies and came out as colors that human eyes could barely understand. They were tall and thin, with long fingers that had too many joints. Their eyes were large and dark, like deep wells. Most of the Galactic Council feared them because they could think too fast. They could do mathematics in their heads that would take human computers hours to solve. They had something built into their brains that was not quite machine and not quite alive. It was something in between. The distress signal came through on an open channel. Any ship in the region could hear it. The voice was calm and clear, but could hear the fear underneath it. The voice belonged to Captain of the People. This is the refugee fleet. We have been exiled from all Council space. We seek sanctuary. We seek a place where our people can live without fear. We have done nothing wrong. We have broken no law. The Council has voted us out anyway. They fear what we are. They fear what we might become. We ask any civilization with mercy in their heart to help us. Leaned back in her command chair, every person on the bridge knew what this meant. The Galactic Council would not be happy about any ship that helped There would be punishment. Trade would stop. The colony would be cut off from Council space. Supplies would become hard to get. People would suffer. But had lived her whole life on the edge of things. Humanity had never been accepted by the Council. They had never fit into the old ways. They had built their colonies and their ships through hard work and stubborn refusal to quit. Humans did not follow the Council's rules because the Council had never included humans in the making of those rules. She made her decision in 5 seconds. She did not need to think longer about it. The answer was clear to her. "Open a channel to the fleet," she said to her communications officer, a young man named. His eyes went wide. He knew what this order meant. He knew it would change everything. But he moved fast and opened the channel anyway. "Captain, this is Captain of the human colony ship Endeavor. I'm speaking for the colony of New Haven on the surface below. The Galactic Council does not speak for all humans. We have built something here that is different from what the Council has made. We have built a place where beings can be safe. We have built a place where beings can live without fear of being cast out. You are welcome here. Your people will have food and shelter. Your people will have safety. You have my word as a captain and as a human being." The bridge went very quiet. Everyone was watching. Everyone was waiting to see if they would accept. Everyone was thinking about what would happen when the Council found out. Everyone was thinking about the future and how it would change after this moment. The response took 30 seconds. 30 seconds that felt like 30 hours. "Captain, this is Captain. Your kindness gives us hope when we have had none. My people are in bad shape. We have been flying for many weeks. Our systems are failing. Our people are sick and afraid. We accept your offer. We will land on your world. We will be grateful for your help forever. We will pay back this kindness somehow. You have saved our civilization." The communications ended. Now everything had to happen fast. Turned to her tactical officer. "Get me all available landing coordinates. Get medical ready. Get food storage to prepare for thousands of new people. Get construction ready to build new housing. Move fast." The next hours were chaos and order at the same time. Ships began to land, stepped out onto human soil for the first time. They moved with long strides, their crystal skin catching the light of the sun. Children looked at them and did not run away. Some children smiled. Some children waved. Walked down to the landing zone to meet Captain in person. Stood 2 meters tall. His skin was deep blue crystal that showed light like a prism. His eyes were dark, but they had intelligence and kindness in them. He looked like nothing had ever seen before, but he did not look evil. He did not look dangerous. He looked like someone who was grateful to be alive. "Thank you," said. His voice was deep and smooth. "You did not have to do this. The Council will hurt you for this choice. They will make you pay. Why did you do this?" Did not think about her answer. She already knew it. Because someone has to say yes. Someone has to offer mercy when the rest of the galaxy says no. That is what makes us human. That is what makes us different from the Council. We choose to help. We choose to be kind even when it costs us something. Reached out one of his long-fingered hands, took it. His skin was smooth and cool. It felt like holding a piece of ice that was somehow warm inside. "You have changed everything today," said. "You have no idea how much you have changed. My people will remember this. The galaxy will remember this. You have done something that most civilizations would never do. You have turned away from your own safety to help someone else. That is rare. That is precious." That night the sun set over New Haven. The sky turned red and gold and orange. The ships were parked in the landing zone. The first of the refugee camps were going up. Humans and worked together, moving fast, moving with purpose. New Haven was changing. The future was changing. And knew that the Galactic Council was not going to like it one bit. 6 months had passed since the first ships landed on New Haven. The colony had changed in ways that nobody could have predicted. The population had grown from 14,000 humans to more than 17,000 humans and 3,000. The small settlement that had been built for one species was now home to two very different kinds of people. Dr. Aaron Bishop was the chief medical officer for New Haven. He was a man of 55 years with thin hair and tired eyes. He had spent his career treating human diseases and human injuries. Now he was learning about biology, which was nothing like human biology. They had bones, but their bones were made of something harder than any mineral found on Earth. They had blood, but their blood was a thick liquid that glowed faintly blue. They had organs, but some of their organs could do things that no human organ could do. Aaron sat in his office looking at medical scans of a patient. The scans were strange and confusing. There were lines of light running through the body like a map. These lines were not blood vessels. These lines were something else entirely. They were connections between the brain and the rest of their body. They were the neural network that the Council had been so afraid of. The door to his office opened and a walked in. Her name was, and she was one of the medical experts. Her crystal skin was a light green color. She moved with grace and purpose. She carried a tablet with medical information on it. "Dr. Bishop, I have the results you asked for," said. Her voice was musical and precise. "The problem is worse than we thought. My people are not strong. We are dying." Aaron felt a chill run down his back. "Explain." Sat down and pulled up images on the tablet. "Our neural systems are rejecting our bodies. The lines you see in our scans are not natural. We built them. We added them to ourselves 300 years ago. We thought they would help us think better. We thought they would make us stronger, but we were wrong. The systems are slowly poisoning us from the inside. Every day more feel the sickness. In 200 years, maybe less, there will be no left. We will all be dead." Aaron stared at the data. This changed everything. The Council had accused thee of building a weapon. The Council had said they were a threat to all life in the galaxy. But looking at these scans, Aaron saw something different. He saw a people trying to save themselves. He saw a civilization fighting against its own biology to stay alive. "The weapon the Council was so afraid of," Aaron said slowly. "It was not a weapon at all." "No," said. "It was medicine. It was our attempt to fix what we had broken in ourselves. But the Council would not listen. They saw the research and they saw danger. They voted to exile us without hearing what we were trying to do. They did not care that we were dying. They only cared that we were different." Aaron made a decision. "We will work together. Your people understand your own biology better than anyone. My people have knowledge of biological systems that might help. Maybe together we can find a solution." Over the following weeks, Aaron and worked in the medical lab every day. They studied biology and human biology. They looked for connections between the two systems. They ran experiments. They tested new treatments. Slowly, they began to understand the problem better. The neural networks in the body were not designed to last forever. They were degrading because they were too active. They burned through the system like a fire that could not be controlled. While Aaron worked in the medical lab, other things were happening in New Haven. A farmer named was working with agricultural specialists. The new things about growing food that humans had never discovered. They could tell by looking at soil what plants would grow best in it. They could look at a seed and know if it would grow strong or weak. Within 3 months, the food production in New Haven had doubled. There was more food than the colony had ever had before. In the schools, human children and children learned together. A teacher named taught mathematics to a group of human teenagers. His crystal skin was deep blue, almost black. He moved to the board and drew complex equations. The students watched and listened. One student, a girl named Sophie, raised her hand. Mister, is it true that the council said you were dangerous? You teach us math. How is that dangerous? Turned from the board, his dark eyes looked at Sophie with kindness. Young one, sometimes civilizations become afraid of what is different. They see something they do not understand and they call it dangerous. The council looked at my people and they saw what they feared we could become. They did not see what we actually are. They did not ask us to explain. They only voted to send us away. Sophie nodded slowly. That does not seem right. No, said. It does not seem right because it is not right. Justice requires understanding. It requires listening. The council did neither of those things. Then, on the 6-month mark, a message came from the Galactic Council, called a meeting of her officers and the leadership. The message was read aloud in the council chamber. The planet New Haven and the human colony established there is hereby placed under Trade Embargo Protocol 7. Effective immediately, no human vessel will be allowed to dock at any council station. No trade will be permitted between New Haven and any council world. Any human ship that attempts to break this embargo will be seized. Any human captain who defies this order will lose their license to navigate council space. This order is final and cannot be appealed. The chamber was silent. This was serious. This was punishment for helping this was the council showing its power and its anger. Stood up. We knew this was coming. We knew helping the would cost us. I need to know now if anyone wants to reverse our decision. I need to know if anyone wants to ask the to leave. I need to know if anyone thinks we made a mistake. No hands went up. Not a single human in the room wanted the to leave. Not one person regretted the choice they had made. Captain stood up. His crystal form seemed to glow in the light of the council chamber. I will not allow my people to stay if it destroys your colony. We will leave. We will find another way. Shook her head. No, we made a choice. We stand by our choices. We do not run when things become hard. We do not abandon people we have chosen to help. The embargo will hurt us, but it will not break us. Humans have learned to build things in hard places. We have learned to survive when nobody else believed we could. We will survive this too. Aaron and continued their work in the medical lab. The medical breakthrough was coming. They could feel it. But first, the colony had to endure the embargo. The future was uncertain. But one thing was clear, New Haven was not backing down. 9 months after they arrived, a ship appeared on the radar screens of New Haven. The ship was big and powerful. It was a council enforcement vessel. These ships were built to hunt down exiled species and bring them back to council space, dead or alive. The ship did not hide its approach. It wanted everyone to know it was coming. Was in the command center when the alert sounded. The tactical officer, a woman named, called out the information. Council enforcement vessel at 200,000 kilometers and closing. Weapons are not charged yet, but they are armed. This is a code red situation. Stood and walked to the main viewing screen. The council ship was visible now. It was an angular built for war. It was 3 times the size of the Endeavor. It had enough firepower to destroy New Haven from orbit if it wanted to. There was no way for New Haven to win a fight against this ship. There was no way to fight at all. The communication officer looked at. They are sending a message, audio only. Nodded, play it. The message was harsh and cold. This is Council Enforcement Fleet Command. You harbor exiled criminals. You violate council law. You have 24 hours to release all refugees. If you do not comply, we will take them by force. You have been warned. The communication ended. The bridge went silent. This was the moment that everyone had been waiting for. This was the test. Opened a channel to Captain. We need to talk now. Came to the command center with 3 of his senior officers. They moved fast. They understood that this was urgent, looked at the enforcement ship on the screen, and his body went rigid. For a moment, he looked very fragile. Then he spoke. I will not let my people bring destruction on yours. We will leave. We will surrender ourselves. Tell them we are coming. But shook her head. No, we are not doing that. We made a choice to help you. That choice does not change when things become difficult. But you cannot fight them, said. You will lose, my people will be retaken, and you will be destroyed for nothing. Before could answer, something unexpected happened. A voice came through the communication system. It was Aaron Bishop. Captain, you need to see this. We have done it. We have the cure. Sighs went wide. Say that again. We have synthesized the vaccine. We have developed the treatment protocol. We can save the people from the neural degradation. The research is complete. We can prove to the council that they were never building a weapon. They were trying to save their own lives. Understood in that moment, this changed everything. This was the proof they needed. This was the evidence that would show the council they were wrong. She turned to the communications officer. Send everything Aaron has, send it to the enforcement ship, send it to every council frequency, send it to every station in council space. Broadcast it now. Moved fast, the medical data flowed out from New Haven into the galaxy. Every council station received it. Every council member saw the research. They saw the neural system degrading. They saw the cure that Aaron and had developed. They saw the proof that they had never built a weapon. They had built medicine. The enforcement ship's commander called back within minutes. His voice was different now. It was confused and uncertain. New Haven, we are reviewing the data you sent. This is not what the council believed. This shows no weapons development. This shows only medical research. We need clarification. Spoke carefully and clearly. They were dying. Their own biology was slowly killing them. They developed this research to save themselves. The council misunderstood. The council voted based on fear and bad information. We stand by the research. We stand by the belief that all intelligent beings deserve the right to live and to fix their own problems. The enforcement ship stayed at 200,000 kilometers. It did not move closer. It did not move away. It just waited. Hours passed. Then a message came from Council High Command. The enforcement commander read it too. Captain, the Council is reviewing the evidence. The Council is reconsidering the charges against you have done something remarkable. You have forced the Council to look at what it did to an innocent people. The enforcement ship is standing down. You will not be attacked. The ship turned and headed back toward Council space. It was not over, but the immediate danger had passed. The colony had survived. That night met within his quarters. The captain stood looking out a window at the stars. His crystal skin reflected the starlight, turning it into colors that no human eyes had seen before. You saved my people, said. You did not have to do it. You could have given us to them. Nobody would have blamed you. Yes, they would have blamed me, said. I would have blamed me. We chose to help you. That means we see you all the way through. That means we do not give up when things become hard. Turn to face her. The council is calling for hearings. They want to understand what happened. But there will be consequences. There will be retribution from the faction that pushed for our exile. Things will become more difficult before they become easier. Nodded, I know, but we are ready. My people have survived in hard places before. We have learned to build when others said it was impossible. We have learned to be strong when nobody believed in us. We will survive whatever comes next. The medical cure was tested. It worked. The people were saved. The neural degradation stopped. Healthy could be vaccinated to prevent the problem from ever happening again. The galaxy had seen a cure discovered through cooperation between two very different species. The galaxy had seen justice triumph over fear. But knew this was only the beginning. The faction in the council that had pushed for the exile would not simply accept this defeat. They would push back. They would try to make New Haven pay. The real struggle was just starting now. In the months after the enforcement ship left, the Galactic Council began to tear itself apart. The faction that had wanted the exiled tried to hide what they had done. They tried to blame others. They tried to change the story. But the evidence was too strong. The research was too clear. Everyone could see that the council had made a terrible mistake. Everyone could see that innocent people had been punished for crimes they never committed. But the faction did not give up. Instead, they changed their tactics. They began to attack New Haven in different ways. Pirate ships started to raid human mining operations in the outer system. These were not official council ships. They were hired mercenaries and outlaw vessels. Nobody could prove that the council faction was behind the attacks, but everyone knew the truth. The attacks were meant to punish New Haven for forcing the council to face its own failure. 3 human miners were killed in one raid. A 4th miner, a man named David, managed to escape in a small shuttle. He flew back to New Haven with a broken arm and a message. The pirates had told him that more would come. They had told him that New Haven would be destroyed piece by piece until the colony agreed to give up called an emergency assembly. The command center was full of human officers and leaders. The mood was dark and angry. Some people wanted to fight back. Some people wanted to arm every ship and send them after the pirates. Some people wanted revenge. But there was another voice in the room. She was a young woman who worked in the diplomatic corps. She had been studying the politics of the Galactic Council for months. She had made connections that nobody else had made. She raised her hand. Captain, I think we are looking at this wrong. We should not be thinking about how to fight the pirates. We should be thinking about how to break the faction that hired them. Turn to her, explain. Stood up, she was nervous, but she spoke clearly. The council is not united. That is why the faction has to hire pirates instead of using official forces. The faction that wanted the exiled does not have enough power inside the council to launch a direct attack. That means there are council members who disagree with them. If we can talk to those moderate council members, if we can show them the truth, we can build support against the faction. We do not need to fight with ships and weapons. We need to fight with truth and evidence. The room went quiet. This was a different kind of strategy. This was diplomacy instead of war. This was exactly the kind of thinking that humans were known for. Humans could look at a problem and find a way to solve it that nobody else had thought of. It is a worthy strategy, but it is also dangerous. If we reach out to the council, we expose ourselves. We show them exactly where we are and what we have. We give them information they could use against us. That is true, said. But we also show them that we are not afraid. We show them that we believe in truth more than we believe in secrecy. That is powerful. That changes how people see us. Made the decision. We do it. Start making diplomatic communications. Reach out to the moderate council members. Tell them we want to talk. Tell them we want to show them the evidence. Tell them we want to build a path to real justice. Over the next weeks, a quiet revolution began. Diplomatic messages went out from New Haven to council worlds that had started to doubt the faction. Messages came back. Some council members were willing to listen. Some council members wanted to understand what had happened. Some council members were tired of the corruption and the fear-based decisions. Meanwhile, Aaron and continued their medical research. But now they had a new goal. They wanted to create a vaccine that could prevent neural degradation for all future generations. They wanted to guarantee that the species would not only survive, but would thrive. A breakthrough came one night in the medical lab. Aaron found a combination of genetic markers and treatment protocols that could be given to children before they were born. These children would never suffer from neural degradation. They would have all the benefits of the neural system without the cost. The species could be saved completely. But the most important breakthrough was political. Received a direct communication from family members who still lived in council space. His brother sent a message. His sister sent a message. Friends and colleagues sent messages. They said that people in council space were starting to listen. They said that the story of what happened to them was spreading. They said that people understood that the council had been wrong. New Haven began to receive messages from other systems. A human colony on the world of Cashin sent support. A settlement, themselves once exiled by the council, asked to form a trade alliance with New Haven. A race called the, who had been banned from council space because they refused to build weapons, requested asylum. The colony grew. In 1 year, New Haven's population went from 20,000 to 50,000. New cities began to grow around the first settlement. The hybrid architecture of human and design became more beautiful and more complex. Marketplaces grew where beings from many different species could trade and talk and learn from each other. But the attacks continued. The pirate raids did not stop. The faction in the council kept trying to destabilize New Haven. They knew what was happening. They knew that they were losing control. They knew that the moderate council members were starting to believe in its vision of a reformed galactic council, so they pushed harder. They sent bigger ships. They sent more attacks. One attack was different from the others. A large pirate fleet approached New Haven with the clear intention to destroy the colony. The human and defense ships went out to meet them. For the first time, humans fought side by side in battle. The ships worked together. The tactical plans came from both species. The defense was strong and coordinated. The pirate fleet was defeated. It was not even close. The humans fought with a unity that the pirates never expected. Ships that had been integrated to work together moved like a single organism. Weapons fired in perfect timing. The enemy vessels were disabled or destroyed. When the battle ended, received a message from the pirate commander. He was surrendering. He was telling everything he knew about who had hired him. He was admitting that the faction in the Galactic Council had paid for the attacks. He was providing all the evidence that was needed. That evidence was sent to the council. It was broadcast across every council channel. It was impossible to hide. It was impossible to deny. The faction had been caught red-handed. They had been hiring mercenaries to attack a human colony. They had killed miners. They had started a war. The response from the moderate council members was fast and decisive. The faction was removed from power. Investigations were opened. The council began to change. The first steps toward real justice were being taken. 3 years had passed since the first ships landed on New Haven. The galaxy had changed more in 3 years than it had changed in the previous 300 years. The Galactic Council had gone through complete reformation. The old faction that had ruled through fear and control was gone. New leaders had taken their place. These new leaders believed that the Council should be fair to all species, not just to the species that the Council had always protected. They were formally exonerated of all charges. Their exile was reversed. They were welcomed back into Council space. But they did not go back to the way things had been before. Instead, they became ambassadors for a new kind of galactic society. They told other species about what had happened to them. They told other species about the courage of human beings who had chosen to help them when the rest of the galaxy said no. Stood in a building called the Hall of Unity. The building had been constructed in New Haven as a symbol of cooperation between all species. The walls were made from both human stone and crystal. The architecture showed the best ideas from dozens of different cultures. The building was beautiful in a way that nothing made by only one species could ever be. Inside the Hall of Unity, representatives from 37 different species were gathering. They had come to New Haven for a conference that would create something new. It was called the Refuge Accord. The founding principle was simple but revolutionary. No being would be judged based only on their species. No civilization would be exiled because of fear. Every species would be evaluated fairly. Every individual would be given the chance to prove who they were through their actions. The conference rooms filled with beings of every shape and size. There were species that looked almost human. There were species that looked like nothing humans had ever seen before. There was a species that existed as a form of intelligent gas. There was a species that lived as hive minds inside crystalline structures. All of these beings had one thing in common. They had all been treated badly by the old Galactic Council. They had all been judged unfairly. They had all been made to feel like they did not belong. Gave the opening speech. She was the youngest ambassador there, but she had become the voice of human diplomacy. She spoke about New Haven. She spoke about what had happened to the... She spoke about the choice that had made to offer sanctuary to a people that the rest of the galaxy had cast out. 3 years ago, a human captain made a choice, said. That choice seemed small at the time. It seemed like just one act of kindness. But that one choice changed everything. That one choice showed that another way was possible. That one choice proved that mercy was not weakness. Today we gather to make sure that this kind of choice becomes normal. Today we gather to create a galaxy where mercy is the foundation of how we treat each other. The delegates applauded. The speech was recorded and sent throughout the galaxy. It was shown on thousands of worlds. The message spread. The idea of the Refuge Accord spread. Other systems began to open their borders to species that had been rejected by the Council. Other systems began to create their own versions of what New Haven had created. In the center of the conference, Aaron and presented their medical research to the assembly. They showed the vaccine that could save the species. They showed how humans had worked together to create something that neither species could have created alone. They showed that cooperation was stronger than isolation. We do not know everything, Aaron told the assembly. Humans coming together in a lab for the first time, learning to work with each other, discovering new ways to think about biology and medicine. This is what happens when different species cooperate. This is what becomes possible when we choose to learn from each other instead of fearing each other. The vaccine was approved for use across the galaxy. Children would no longer suffer from neural degradation. The species that the Council had wanted to eliminate would live and grow for thousands of years more. They would thrive. They would become stronger through the genes that had been saved by human medicine. Outside the Hall of Unity, something beautiful was happening. Human children and children played together in gardens that had been designed by both species. Species that had never met before were trading knowledge and goods. A marketplace had grown up where merchants from 100 different worlds came to sell and buy and exchange ideas. Walked through this marketplace with beside her. They had become friends over 3 years of working together. They had faced danger together. They had celebrated victories together. They had learned to trust each other completely. Do you remember what you told me that first day? Asked. You said that humanity's greatest strength was the capacity to say yes to those who had been cast out. I remember, said. You were right, said, but I think it was more than that. Your strength was not just saying yes. Your strength was saying yes and then standing firm when everyone told you that you were wrong. Your strength was choosing to help even when it cost you everything. That evening, received messages from systems across the galaxy. A human colony on the world of Kashan sent a message of support and friendship. A settlement offered to share their agricultural knowledge with New Haven. A group of thanked New Haven for showing the galaxy that peace was possible. The Galactic Council sent an official message. The new council leadership wanted to form a partnership with New Haven. They wanted to learn from what End and Aaron had created. They wanted to understand how to build a more just and fair council. They wanted to apologize for what they had done to the... But the most important message came from space travel and exploration routes opening up where there had been nothing before. New settlements were being built. New colonies were growing. Species that had been isolated were now meeting each other. Communication networks were spreading across the galaxy. The future was being built on the foundation of kindness that had laid 3 years ago. That night, as the sun set over New Haven, casting long shadows across the hybrid city of human and architecture, stood alone on a platform looking at the stars. The future was uncertain. There would be challenges ahead. There would be species who refused to accept the Refuge Accord. There would be conflict. There would be difficulty. But as she looked at the stars, knew something that most humans never understand. She knew that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is doing the right thing even when you are afraid. She had been afraid 3 years ago when she decided to help the... She had been terrified that the decision would destroy her colony. But she had done it anyway because it was right. And now, standing under the stars with the galaxy transformed around her, understood that one person could change everything. One choice could reshape a world. One act of kindness could save a civilization. And sometimes, the most powerful weapon in the galaxy was not a gun or a ship or advanced technology. It was simply the willingness to say yes to those who had been cast out. It was the willingness to believe that every being deserved a chance. It was the willingness to be human in the truest sense of the word.